It's the summer 2025 King of the Indie Coke-ish Rappers Showdown. It's Boldy James versus Freddie Gibbs. Who put out the better project this month? I'm going to be talking about that. You're going to have to. It is very much summer 2025. It is really hot out here. I got a lot of cicadas behind me. I hope you enjoy the ambient sounds. You might notice I don't sound so good. It turns out the Sixth God took his revenge on me. You know, I was at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Toronto, and this guy walks up in an OVO jacket, and he just goes, "This is for the boy." And he coughs right in my face. And I get COVID. My 1-year-old got COVID. My 3-year-old got COVID. My wife got COVID. So, anyways, that didn't happen, by the way. I just got COVID at the concert. It turns out you could get COVID in the summer. So if I'm a little bit out of it, that's why. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who's going to try to get you to sympathetically subscribe to me and smash the like bucket. So, I didn't really know how I was going to be covering these two artists. I've talked a lot about Freddie Gibbs. I've talked a lot about Boldy James. I've talked a lot about the producers of each album, Nicholas Craven for Boldy James and The Alchemist for Freddie Gibbs. Kind of similar projects in a lot of ways. Two Midwest rappers born in 1982 who talk a lot about their past of selling coke. And who make excellent artisanal rap that can verge to a little to very misogynist. Both of them working with absolute top-tier white underground hip-hop producers, and this is the second of the Alfredo projects by Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist. This is Alfredo 2. This is the third project from Boldy James and Nicholas Craven, Fair Exchange, No Robbery, and Penalty of Leadership. I've covered all of these things. And so part of me was a little bit at a loss. Like, am I just going to say the same kind of things over again? No, I'm not going to, because as I like to say, hip-hop is a competitive art, so let's put them against each other. Even though that's kind of weird and artificial, because underground rappers and underground producers, it's sort of like when you watch, Beverly Hills 90210, or some kind of soap opera, or Friends, or whatever. Like, if there's a lot of, men and women in a show, and the show goes long enough, they're all going to date each other eventually. Alchemist and Boldy have already done an album together. I'm sure that Boldy and Nicholas Craven will do an album together, if they haven't already done 3 that I just haven't heard. But still, let's talk about who's going to win this. Now, if we take it neutrally, I put up a vote on my Instagram page. Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist won with 83% of the votes. Wow. Their score on Metacritic is 85. Boldy James and Nicholas Craven aren't even on there. Technically speaking, the production on Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist is finer, is more refined. Lyrically, the lyrics are more worked, perhaps more successful, perhaps more wordplay, perhaps more double entendres, or at least multisyllabic rhymes and lots of different kinds of flows. They made a short film, and it's pretty interesting and beautiful. It's pretty beautiful. Take note, Snoop and Dre, doesn't all have to be a commercial. The album cover is great. And so I am ready to declare a winner. Technically, the audience, the critics, they all seem to agree who wins this battle. I am all ready. But the problem is, I've been thinking about Tyler, the Creator, ever since I went to the 6, and Chubbs gave me COVID. All right. I can't laugh at my own jokes. First of all, it's not stately, as someone told me in a comment once. Second of all, it's going to agitate my already asthmatic COVIDity. Yeah, Chubbs gave me COVID. That's funny. I'm sorry to say. But I've been thinking about something that Tyler, the Creator, said when he talks about how people talk about rap, on Rap Twitter. And so I'm going to quote Tyler. Should I try and do a Tyler voice? I don't know. I don't care about... I don't care about people's objective top nothing. Tell me, what is your favorite? I want to know why you think Pookie Dookie's second album is your favorite. I have memories attached to it. My brother did this, that on track 7. Talks about this. I found out I was going through it. I want to hear that. I don't care about no objective top. The kids be doing it with me. They do a tier list. That's why I fucking hate rap Twitter. Everything is performative. Everyone is making these lists just to have people engage. Who gives a fuck who top 3 is? You're asking people for thoughts on what you hold to your heart? So I want to think about that. And I'm going to release, maybe tomorrow, sometime this week, my Pookie Dookie top 5 MCs. You know, following the Tyler rules. Because I did a top 5 MCs where I tried to balance my preference with a sort of objective hip-hop historian. I'm going to give you the Pookie Dookie. I'm going to give you the Pookie Dookie top 5. And I got to tell you something about this. This album right here, these two albums up against each other, Pookie Dookie. Boldy wins the crown, man. God damn, I love this album. Now, I don't dislike the Freddie and Alchemist, but you give me a Pookie Dookie choice. You tell me, what do I prefer? What do I want to listen to? Whose voice do I want in my ears? What production do I want on the speakers? I want to hear Boldy James. I want to hear Nicholas Craven. All right? Now, that's Freddie Gibbs. I mean, some of his lyrics. Nothing in your catalog classic. You shacked him like Thanasis, Godfather Kane. I turned these sons to bastards. Belt to ass like Joseph Jackson. No relaxing. It's wrapped in plastic. Beautiful. Super well made. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to perform for you. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the flow change and the number of words per minute and the multisyllabic, blah, 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 blah. Screw it. Because I got to tell you something. The first time I reviewed Freddie Gibbs was Alfredo 1, and I was really entranced by that album. I was entranced by its vulnerability, how clearly it was post-COVID. Obviously, the production was great. The rapping, the flow was great. Then I reviewed him again a couple years later, and the name of that review was, Do I Like Freddie Gibbs? I was already starting to kind of ask myself, like, I can recognize that he's great, but I don't know. The funny thing was, when I reviewed Alfredo the first time, I was supposed to review Lady Gaga that day. But I just realized I just don't like Lady Gaga. I respect her. I thought she was good in that Joker movie. I think she's a great songwriter. I think she's an amazing talent. I think she's just wonderful. And if I never hear her open her mouth to sing one more time for the rest of my entire life, I will be completely happy. I don't like Lady Gaga. And I just don't like Freddie Gibbs. I just don't like him. I appreciate him, but I just don't like him. Is that okay, Rap Twitter? Is that okay, Intelligentsia? Can I be Pookie Dookie with y'all and just tell you I don't like him? Now listen, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. Read My Soul was on my channel yesterday talking about Mac Miller. He made a video recently about why he doesn't like Freddie Gibbs. I feel kind of similar to him. Like, I can recognize the things he does well. I mean, he still has all this amazing skill that I talked about in the last two videos. You can't take those things away from him. I love the fact he's from Gary, Indiana. Shout out to At Large O'Toole. All right? I don't actually agree with Reed that he's boring. I don't think he's boring because he does so many great flow changes. I think maybe I'm going to I'm going to try to give him a compliment that is the highest possible compliment, which is I think he might be the world's best waltz rapper. I think he might be the best person at rapping to a 6/8 beat. Okay? And it's not like I don't love Alchemist. I love his beats. But I just don't like Freddie Gibbs. I don't know. It could be because of the beef with Benny. Maybe his beef with JPEG Mafia. I like those guys. I don't know. I just don't like his voice that much. He just kind of, listen, he just kind of seems like not a nice guy. I don't know. That's just the feeling I get. It could be crystallized with one song, okay? Mar-a-Lago. Great start and stop beat, crazy cool sounds, these chimes, atmospheric guitars. Beautiful. But the whole thing is, it just gives me bad feelings. And this is what Read My Soul was talking about. When you listen to rap music and you are a feminist and or you care about women at all, those are usually the same thing, but people sometimes are scared of calling themselves feminists. Listening to rap is tough because you have to figure out, like, what is your line for how much misogyny can you accept? Understanding that this is coming from a privileged position of a man who's never had to suffer from misogyny in a real first-person way, right? So I understand. I'm saying, what can I accept? That's like me saying, how much racism can I accept? Okay, I understand that. But I'm just telling you this is personal taste. And I want to take you all the way back. You know how I love to show CDs and tapes and stuff from my history of my long life of loving hip-hop? I don't have a Del the Funky Homo Sapien tape to show you. All right? I didn't keep that. I bought the album No Need for Alarm. I actually prefer Del the Funky Homo Sapien's second album to his first album, I Wish My Brother George Were Here, even though it doesn't have Mr. Bobolina, Mr. Bob Dobalina. I love the album No Need for Alarm, except for one song, Boo Boo Heads. Del, the Homo sapien, released the most vile, sexist piece of garbage, I think, in rap history. And this is just from memory, because I won't listen to the thing again. Boo-boo heads, boo-boo heads, boo-boo heads. I want you dead, I want you bleeding. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. Just, God. And Del the Funky Homo Sapien has a great voice, amazing flow. The guy's unbelievable, but I can't rock with him ever since that. You know? And you go to lyrics like this, and this is something that Reed pointed out, man, the misogyny on this album is relentless. And you compare that to Alfredo 1, where he was a lot more introspective, a lot more talking about the toll that the life has taken on him. I think he's gotten more famous. I think he's gotten more respect. I think he got Grammy nominated, and all of a sudden it's got to his head, and he's lost what's made him human. Pimp his ass and nasty, did burn like pussy, no prophylactic. Took summer off to fuck all the baddies with plastic asses. And then a great line, be writing checks with their mouth, but one day they gotta cash it. Okay, great. Don't look past a hoe, I'm magic, behind the back like Patrick. Great rhyming. But then this lyric, she bound to bust that pussy, rush. Okay, I'm gonna turn into Ben Shapiro here. She... Okay. This is empowerment. I gotta do it. I gotta do the whole thing in my Ben Shapiro voice. Okay. I'm in Miami, ho. Okay. She's bound to bust that pussy. Rush that pussy for 1,000 likes. It's ass, pussy, and mouth tonight. Yeah, bitch. She's serving 3 holes. I'm running through her whole fucking group. Fucking 3 amigos. I mean amigas. So like, ugh. What's that meme? Brother, right? Can I say that? Tell me in the comments. Can I say brother, I don't know. I think I can. Brother, ass, pussy, and mouth tonight? She's serving 3 holes? I gotta go full Colonel Kurtz here. Full Toshiro Mifune on you. Gross. Now, I do like that he corrects his Spanish, because he's saying he's going through all of her friends. He says 3 amigos. 3 amigos, that's masculine. That's some spready territory, Freddie. But I guess he means amigos. But it's just gross. And it's just mean-spirited. And it just makes me feel like I used to listen to Del the Funky Homo Sapien. All right? So there you go. And also, not for nothing, but it's a pro-Trump song. Because it's trying to make Trump seem like a badass. DON, federal agents parked outside my street. Feds hit my shit. They ain't getting shit. Mar-a-Lago. Oh, wow. He's not an underground hero. He's a millionaire trust fund baby from Queens, okay? That's who he is. From Jamaica Estates, Queens, all right? Not the other part of Jamaica, Queens. From Jamaica Estates, Queens, all right? He was given a couple $1 million by his dad to start a business. He's been bailed out of everything he's ever freaking had. He only got out of that whole case because the ghouls who put him into power made sure that all the judges wouldn't put him away. So he's not some kind of cool underground guy busting off the feds. He is the feds. So there you go. You know? But the rest of the album, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I don't like it. I love the Jid verse. I love the Larry June verse. The Anderson .Paak feature might be one of the best features of the entire year. But I gotta give the crown to Boldy James and Nicholas Craven, all right? Let's give the flowers to them. Let's give the flowers to them. Now, I almost didn't review this album because I've already talked about them this month or in the last 30 days. Sorry. It's rough out here. I got COVID. I'm laughing at my own jokes. Chubs. I got chubs in the bushes like Pinocchio waiting to come get me. That's why Chubbs is chasing me. That's why he's not protecting Drake from Pinocchio, because he's chasing me. If you don't know who Drake is or any of this stuff, none of these jokes are hitting. So I reviewed Manger on McNichols, sort of a retro review, props to Spicy Oreo 74. And then I did 2 different Nicholas Craven projects that are in French with Saint-Sucré. So I've been talking a lot about them, right? But we just have to take a second and really appreciate what this trilogy is. First of all, they didn't call it Fair Exchange, No Robbery 2 and 3. They made a classic album. They just made 3 of them. And it's just great. And you know, my past is kind of gloomy, but my future's looking promising. There's just something, to me, a lot of the things that people like about Freddie Gibbs, that's what I like about Boldy James, but I feel it's just more human. Even if he puts himself forward as a concreature, even if he puts himself forward as kind of a dehumanized monster, I feel the humanity, I feel the frailty in him. And Nicholas Craven, I think he outproduced one of his heroes with this project. Peekaboo. I just said that. I'm not saying it's as well produced because Nicholas Craven does not have the absolute finery, the mastery, the fine-tuning, the layering of Alchemist, okay? I'm not crazy. He would say I'm crazy for saying that. But for me, I prefer the beats on this. I think it's great. All of his great crazy loops that he's finding. Now listen, I did look them up. I'm not going to sample snitch, but I will say a lot of the samples aren't just from songs that have never been sampled before. They are from artists who have never been sampled before. Artists who have never been sampled before. As in crates in the record store that have never been seen by any DJs or producers for the past 50 years of hip-hop. And we got him with his red beard digging in there. All right? Crazy loops. Crazy loops. And also, Boldy James, he might be one of the funniest rappers. He really might be. But he's funny in the kind of way where if I ever met him, I wouldn't want to tell him. You know? I'd be like, Boldy, I just want to say, I really appreciate your craft, but you're really funny. You mean, like, this is how I imagine he would respond to that. Let me understand this, because, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a little fucked up. But I'm funny how? I'm funny like a clown? I amuse you? I make you laugh? I'm here to fucking amuse you? What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny? And I'd be like, just like the way you tell stories, No, I don't know. You said it. All right? He's got that menace to him, but he's hilarious. So I'm going to go through this album. I'm not going to go like track by track by track by track by track. I'm just going to try to enjoy some of the humor. Even the title, Late to My Own Funeral, almost died in a car crash. We almost lost one of the great rappers of the underground right now, and here he is, late to his own funeral. And it's a lot of what makes him so funny is how much he makes this extension, how far out language gets. And I did that when I talked about the Boldy James album. I believe my title of that was Crack Rap is Really Weird. Wait, my bad? I did not know that the term crack rap was unacceptable. I'm not speaking facetiously. I accept that term is unacceptable, that the term coke rap is preferred. I'll talk about this more when I talk about the clips again. This is unintentional. I'm not trying to speak in code. I do not believe... Anyways, I had no idea. I just didn't know that there was a thing. To the point where that review, you can look at all the comments for that video that is titled Crack Rap is Really Weird. Not a single person said, Sky, don't call it that. And then I called clips crack rap, and I had like 40 people calling me out. And I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that language changed, and I didn't notice. And that's what happens. And one day, you're going to call somebody dumb, and your kids are going to call you a bigot. And you're going to say, no, I just said he's dumb. Oh, so you think that people who don't have the ability to speak should be mocked? No, it's just a term that we use. Okay, well, here's some other terms that people used. And okay, so just so you know, just language changes. So... coke rap is really weird. What I love about it is the way that it exchanges language. And we just had this album. It's their third collaboration. They're basically like Hit Boy and Nas at this point. So many great vibes. You have like the opening track, spiderwebbing windshields, this soul sample starting and stopping. It's inspirational. Listen to these funny-ass lyrics from Boldy James. Funny how? Like a clown, like he amuses me? Whole task, know me. By my alias my mother gave me, knowing I'm that one pulling the strings on all the... Wait. You sit down. If you haven't heard this album yet, you sit down and you say, what's the next lyric coming out of his mind? Pulling all the strings on the Muppet Babies. Why is this... Why did he say Muppet Babies? Because it goes with Mother Gave Me? Like, that's his level of... The man said Muppet Babies. Boldy James, the Concreature, 227. He said Muppet Babies. We're trying to... I take him seriously. He's funny how? Like a clown? No, but it's funny as hell. You call somebody a Muppet Baby? I love the inspirational sound of the sample as it mixes with this low guttural voice. There's no hooks on this album. There's no choruses, no chori. It just goes. It's just beat, rhymes, 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 rhymes. Beat, rhymes, 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 rhymes. Beat, rhymes, 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 rhymes. Marrero is the next song. I'm not even going to talk about the lyrics for 1 second because this guitar line, Nicholas Craven doesn't do producer drops, okay? But if he did, I don't know. It'd be like me going like, Nicolas, say dang! You know, that's what it'd be. Nicolas, say dang! You know, it's crazy. Crazy. It's a crazy beat. It's awesome. Next song is called Trapezoid. Get out of here. And these simple pitched up souls, this great shuffling drum beat. And Boldy is this beat. This lyric. Circle tight as gnat pussy. Do you hear those cicadas? I'm not going to finish that. That's how tight. Circle tight is gnat pussy? Like gnats? Square dancing, you a daddy's boy. If I was a shape, I'd be a trapezoid. AP like an octagon, counting up these rectangles. Rock out like Rick Rubin, all these Cubans on my neck, tangled, bangled on her right wrist, anklet on the left ankle. I know she with me because she be posting from her best angle. We got angles, shapes, trapezoids, octagons, rectangles, angles. It's funny, it's cool, it's well done, it's a great beat. And then he's not even done with the comedy. These Laffy Taffy rappers, that means they've been a joke. Dude, Boldy James, our life experience is not that similar, you know? You grew up in a rough part of Detroit and, you know, you went to jail, you know, you did all that work. You talked all about, like, going to the bus and stuff with your son. It was great. It was great. Man, we could talk about these two things, though. We could talk about Muppet Babies and Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffy, the world's most disappointing candy. No one's ever opened up a thing of Laffy Taffy and said, I'm glad this is not different candy. Beautiful. Antonio Tuttle, soft 80s sample, just weaving all over the place. Ever slept with a snake? Looked in the eyes and stared death in the face? Faces of death, F on my waist, ain't got no cases to catch, pay my respects, was never safe. Cordon Bleu, this cheesy saxophone that's all over the place. Now listen, saying that Nicholas Craven is better than Alchemist in the project is a crazy thing to say because obviously the influence is there, but still, this is great. And this awesome mixture, because Boldy's delivery is so dry, is so laconic, that the fact all these Roxy Contons got my pockets blue as cordon, like cordon bleu, and then the ad-lib is Papa Smurf. Cordon bleu, Papa Smurf. Just left 300 racks at Saks Fifth with no hand because I going dummy off the OJ. I'm an oxymoron. Might pull up in a brand new TRX. I feel like Zordon. He got dinosaur hustle. The land before time. Yee. What? Zordon? He's talking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He's talking Land Before Time. He's hilarious. The whole shebang. Give me the whole shebang. Don't even need a scale. Name ringing bells like Hunchback and Notre Dame. Give me the whole shebang. Hilarious and strange. Saran wrapping up them gifts. We be sandbagging. Pants sagging. Pocket full of strips. I'm building sandcastles. Could touch a 50. I pull a Mr. Fantastic. Genie in a bottle. It's like a sweet love song. I cherish every moment when it's with you, my love, because time ain't on my side. I ain't no spring chicken. So take this as a token. I'm sending you my love. You know, hey, this was what Reed was asking for from Freddie Gibbs. You know, maybe one song where you're not just talking about how much you hate and use women at the same time. Been horsing shit all my life. Think I'm Seabiscuit. Man, I love rap music. I don't even care I got COVID. I don't even care I got like 3 hours of sleep. Woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I went to CVS to buy infant Tylenol because the infant Motrin didn't work enough. We're talking 5:30 a.m. I'm there. I thought just for fun it would be really hilarious if I bought a pack of condoms at the same time. What kind of night are you having, buddy? I didn't. I did buy Pop-Tarts, though. Nice try, wrong guy. Pop-Tarts don't work for birth control. Nice try, wrong guy. Guitar super cool. Some orchestra comes in. Last time I stepped foot in a service, it was a funeral service. 20 click ran out too quick. I ain't mean to run out on purpose. One monkey don't stop the show. One clown don't shut down the circus. I know. You're sitting there and you're saying, yeah, but Freddie Gibbs has got all these lines and stuff. That's cool, man. I believe it. I believe on a non-pookie dookie level that Freddie Gibbs is better than this. But man, this hits me right in the pookie dookies. Meal prep and another pitched up. Listen to the high. Listen, the thing is, what Nicholas Craven's able to do is he's able to find these crazy beats and somehow make them work. The hi-hats are so stuttered and staccato and everywhere. It's just a relentless, crazy town beat. I don't know how he does it. Caught a new case on that run from all that pill pressing. Don't give a F without his gun. Say feel naked. We still etch-a-sketching bodies. We be Lil Jeffin. Still rep a 2227 Mafia. And it ends with AT&T. Nice kind of like sample here. It's kind of like a posse cut. Mr. Ice Cream Man, the biggest frozone, stole stones across the street from the old folks' home. Damn you, Boldy James. I know. I've missed like 5 Boldy James projects this year. I know, and I'm sure they're all this good. We just have to take time to appreciate that he's here and he's working. So there you go. And also, just to be clear, Alfredo 2 is good. It's a good album. It's definitely good. I enjoyed it. I just don't like listening to it. I just don't like listening to it. You know? All right. Well, I am absolutely burning up. I hope you are all well. I hope you do not have COVID. I hope Toby is looking like he wants to get out of here, so I'm going to go help him out. So until next time, there's the camera.